What's good, y'all? It's Criscoe Fontaine. Appreciate you for pulling up to the stream. I really do appreciate it. I really do from the bottom of my heart. We're about to get it started shortly, but hey, real quick, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, por favor. And then hit that bell right next to it so that you get notifications when I upload things of that nature. If you get any fulfillment, get any entertainment value whatsoever from this stream today, and whenever I'm streaming, hit the like button. And if you don't rock with it, you can hit the dislike button too. It's cool. It helps the channel either way, man. Okay? So feel free to comment, chat. I'll try to be as interactive as possible. Once again, I do appreciate you for tuning in to the stream. And if you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Whatever is in there, I love you. Let's get into the stream. Welcome back to the channel. It's yours truly, Criscoe Fontaine, aka Coach Criscoe. You know, I don't like being wrong. I really don't like being wrong. I'm watching this OKC Minnesota game right now, and it's a massacre. Okay, it is a massacre. Now, if you recollect, my initial picks for the NBA Finals, I have to preface, my initial picks for the NBA Finals was OKC in the West and Boston in the East. The final that I wanted to see was Golden State in the West and Milwaukee in the East. But once the conference finals started, my finals pick was Minnesota in the West and New York in the East. And I picked Minnesota over OKC, over the top ranked OKC, over the 64 win OKC. 64? No, they won 68. Did Cleveland win 64 or did Minnesota win? OKC. OKC won 68. The 68 win OKC Thunder. I picked Minnesota because Minnesota was the team that has the Western Conference Finals experience. OKC finished first in the West last year, but got knocked out by Dallas in the second round. Minnesota, home court advantage, Western Conference Finals last year. Didn't think that Dallas was going to walk them down the way that they did last year, but they did. So I'm thinking, okay, they knock out Bron and Luka. They get the Warriors, which I feel like if Steph was healthy, the Warriors probably would have took care of business. So we could be having a whole nother conversation right now. Hang on 1 second. We could be having a whole nother conversation right now if Steph Curry was healthy, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm thinking, okay, they get back to the conference finals, a year removed from getting to the conference finals with home court advantage, and shit in the bed, basically. And we're keeping it a buck. So I picked the Wolves in 6, if I'm not mistaken. And the only reason why I picked the Wolves in 6 is because I didn't think that the Wolves would have enough to win a 7 game in OKC. And I picked the Wolves to win it. But I feel like the series would go 6 at least. Maybe even 7. If it was going 7, and I had OKC in 7. Just because of the home court. And you know, this series has just been a complete letdown. It's been a complete letdown. I mean, from, I don't know, Ant-Man just seeming like he's picking and choosing. He's out there playing like Jimmy Butler. It's like, I'm playing basketball the right way. I'm playing basketball the right way. I'm making the right plays. Sometimes the right play is you keeping the ball. You taking the shot. Sometimes that's the right play. and Julius Randle just not showing up at all. You kind of see maybe that's why New York felt like they can move off of him, because it's like he's going to demand money, and we don't know if he's the man. And we may potentially have the man here in Jalen Brunson. Don't necessarily want to commit max type paper to somebody that may or may not show up, depending on the mood that he's in. That was a few games in this series where he didn't even finish the game. It's like he was played off the floor. It just didn't show up. And even in game 4, this last past game 4, he had like 5 points, 5 or 6 points. It's like you can't be the number 1, number 2 potential option. 5 points in a playoff game. I don't ever remember seeing that ever in the history of me watching the game of basketball from an NBA perspective. That's just ridiculous. And game 4 was the game where they were supposed to win because the role players showed up. Dante showed up. Nikhil Alexander-Walker showed up. Jaden McDaniels showed up. Like, all the role players that were supposed to show up showed up, and the stars didn't. If you're going to win the championship, those are the games you're supposed to win, and on your home floor, too. So, Minnesota was a little bit of a disappointment for me. And I mean, I'm watching the game now. I mean, the game is still going on, but it's belt to ass. Belt to ass right now. I think right now is, let me see. Replay. I don't know the score. Yeah, it's like a 26 point lead right now. It's ridiculous. Hang on. Let me see. Actually. No, is it 26? My math is not mathing. 60, 80. Yeah, 26. 26 point lead right now. $26 point lead in the playoffs. And Knicks Pacers. So my thought was the fact that they played each other last year, the fact that Indiana won in a 7-game series against the Knicks. They won the 7-game in New York. I'm thinking, okay, you got then now you get your get back. New York, you get your get back. You are a different team. You have Cat. You got Mikal Bridges. You have a different team from last season. Indiana, in all intents and purposes, got the same damn team. You got the exact same team coming in. You have made, in my opinion, you've made improvements to your team. You have home court again with a chance to go to the NBA Finals. You're going to show up. They choked one of the toughest choke jobs in the history of the National Basketball Association in game 1. Game 2, they let that one slip through. Game 3, they showed up. I mean, they were down. They got down 20 again. Came back, was able to get that game. And in game 4, much the same. It's I look for New York to show up game 5. You in New York, you're gonna try to save face. You at home. And to be completely honest, I'm not necessarily giving up on the Knicks just yet. Minnesota is pretty much it. They SOL. It's looking like the OKC Thunder is going to the NBA Finals. More than likely, the OKC Thunder is going to be the NBA champions. Shout out to Shai Gilgeous out. This is Lexi be kicking my ass. Shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for winning MVP. And it's no surprise. Shout out to Nikola Jokic as well, because I mean, if he would have won it, I don't think anybody would have been disappointed. But Shea deserved it, especially if he's able to take his team to the finals and they're able to win the championship. He deserved it this season. Just what he's been able to accomplish, what he's been able to do with this team. Because I honestly feel if you take OKC and you take Denver and you remove Shea from OKC, you remove Jokic from Denver, I still think Denver has a better team than OKC. What OKC is able to do is solely based on Shea. I still think that even without Jokic and the amount of motion that Jokic has, I still think that if you remove Jokic, you still have Jamal Murray. You still have you got a Aaron Gordon that's been his whole playoff run. Like he had multiple game winners or game deciding shots or dunks. So he's showing you, I got this. I can do this too. And you got a former MVP in Russell Westbrook. So I think that to me, that's how I gauge MVP is take this player off of this team. What does this team look like without this player? Like the MVP is the most valuable player. The best player in the league is not going to always win the MVP. If that was the case, Michael Jordan would have like 10 plus MVPs in his entire career. Kobe would damn sure have more than one. Braun has 4. Braun would have more than 4. Like, so the best player in the league doesn't always win the MVP. It's not the best player. It's the most valuable to his team. OKC finished number 1. Even if you compare OKC's number 1 to Cleveland's number 1, Cleveland finished number 1 and they had multiple big runs. I mean, like winning streaks out the wazoo for Cleveland. But they still only finished, 4 or 5 games ahead of Boston? OKC in the tougher division finished 12 or 13 games ahead of Houston, the number 2 seed in the West. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the best player on that squad. So you take the best player on the best team, you remove him, and you say, okay, well, if you remove Shai, who's the number 1 option? Jalen Williams? Does OKC have any type of success with Jalen Williams as the number 1 option? And that's no shot to Jalen Williams. I'm just saying. No. Hell no. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it all the way a buck. They don't. So I felt like Shai was the consensus MVP this whole entire time, to be honest with you. But to double back on the Knicks and Pacers, the Knicks, I mean, realistically speaking, they got a shot, right? They got a shot. I mean, 2 of the last 3 games are in New York, if permitted. So they got to win out. But they know that they have 2 of the 3 at home. All you got to do is win game 5. If you're New York, all you got to do is win game 5. You win game 5, all of the pressure is on Indiana. Because if Indiana can't close out in game 6 at home, you lose, you trick that off. You trick game 6 off if you Indiana at home. And you have to go back to Madison Square Garden for a game 7. Although you have won game 7 last year on that floor, if I'm not mistaken. Because, I'm old head now. I'm unk. I think Jalen was hurt last year. OG was hurt last year. They didn't have Julius Randle last year. This was previous to Cat last year. They didn't have Mikal Bridges last year. So if you didn't have Jalen Brunson and you didn't have OG, shit, all you had was Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo. Mitchell Robinson wasn't playing. Who did the New York Knicks have exactly? They were supposed to lose. They didn't have nobody. And I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. I'm not gonna say that Jalen Brunson didn't play, but he damn sure was not healthy. So, um, give me wrong. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. All right, give me one more second. Give me one more second. All right. It's all about production over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm a one-man wrecking crew. I just want to make sure everything is copacetic. That's all. So yeah, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. But what does a OKC Indiana final look like? I mean, from a basketball standpoint, it might be okay. But for the NBA, I know the NBA, they punch in the air. They like Trey right now. They punch in the air. It's like two small markets. And it's not like you have like two superstars. I mean, I think OKC with Shea, SGA is getting there. You know what I'm saying? I think SGA has the potential to be the face of the league. And I don't know if the league is really ready for a face of the league to be a non-American, because I think that they really care about that. I think so. Like, has there ever been a face of the league that wasn't an American? Let me double back. Let me just think. The face of the league. You can say Steph was the face, Braun was the face. I guess they kind of tag teamed. I don't know if KD was ever the face of the league. But I think Braun and KD, when people say Braun's era, you can't really say Braun's era without Steph, because they got the same amount of championships. So Braun and Steph, they kind of tag team this era, right? They kind of tag team this era. So Steph and Braun, American. Prior to that, I guess you could say it was Kobe was the face of the league, even if it was brief. Before Kobe, was it Shaq? Because I don't think Tim Duncan was ever the face of the league. But even if he was, it was still America. He's from the Virgin Islands, right? That's still U.S. territory. But I don't think Tim Duncan was ever the face of the league. I think it was Shaq. And then prior to Shaq, it was Michael Jordan. Right? I mean, I'm just I'm just thinking, like, the faces of the league prior to Mike, was Isaiah Thomas the face of the league? Like the original Isaiah Thomas? Was he the face? Was he ever the face of the league? It was either Magic or Bird. And in the 80s, Magic and Bird, they tag team. It was kind of like Steph and Bron. Prior to that, who was the face of the league? I mean, that was well before my time, so I don't know. I guess it would be Dr. J, but that was ABA. He came into the NBA. I mean, you're going back. You're going to Wilt and Russell and West and what other names? They were all Americans. There's never really been a non-American that was the face of the league. And I know he looks like an American. He looks like a YN, right? But he's from Canada. He's not an American. I don't think that the league is really ready for Jokic or Giannis or Luka to be the face of the league. I think they really hell bent on an American to be the face. I think that's really why. And don't get me wrong, because I love him. They've kind of gassed Anthony Edwards as the face from the state of Georgia. ATL to be exact. So I don't know. Maybe Tyrese Haliburton will wind up being the face of the league. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he showed that he could potentially be the face of the league. He's clutch enough. But let me see what the score is. Oh my God. 103-72. I just wish that Minnesota would have put more effort. Let me just see something real quick. I'm gonna pull it up. See if y'all. We're gonna pull up the box score real quick. See if I can find. I wish I could find anybody knows a live box score for sporting events, because I want to do more watch parties and stuff. And I think I'm gonna do some watch parties for the NFL as well. It's for Falcon games. If you know me, then you know that they did win 68. If you know me, then you know that I'm a Falcon fan. I am a Falcon fan to the core. Okay. Look at this shit, dog. I gotta mute it. 106-72. OKC. Closing this out, going to the NBA Finals. Let's just see something real quick. So Julius Randle did show up tonight. He had 24 points. Anthony Edwards only 19. 7 for 18 from the field for Ant. Mike Conley has not scored a point. And you know what? I honestly felt like going into this series for Minnesota, I felt like they needed to start Dante. I mean, if you look at the minutes played, let's just zoom in a little bit more. If you look at the minutes played, I mean, Dante's played more minutes than Mike. So is it really like a thing? Okay, I start. But even though I started, I still didn't play as many minutes as my backup. Does it matter? I think that they would have been better off starting Dante at the point. I said that early in the season. I thought that they should have started Dante at the point early in the season. To be honest with you. 0 points. 0 for 3 from the field. Dante 2 for 4 from the field. 6 points. I mean, you can give Dante some more shots. Dante could have had them 3 shots that Mike took. Nas Reed 5 for 6. Maybe you switch it up. I know they went big. Minnesota, OKC. You starting Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein. Okay, cool. Isaiah Hartenstein 17 minutes, 8 points, 4 for 5. Right, but Chet is. Shit, I might weight the same as Chet. And Chet 7 feet. I'm 6'1", 6'2". We might weigh the same. He little body. I think that they could have. Rudy played 19 minutes thus far. Nas Reed has played 24 minutes. I would have started Nas and Julius together in the front court with Jaden and Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo in the front court. I mean the back court. I'm sorry. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. The game that they needed to win was game 4, and all of the role players did their thing in game 4. Can I get game 4? Is it, where do I find game 4 at? I wish I had it laid out so I can just pick game 4 from this, because I can't go back. They ain't got it back. This is Yahoo Sports, by the way. Of course you can see it. But I mean, OKC, if you look at it, oh shit, Shea got 34 points. Jalen with 19, Chet with 20. OKC's supposed to win a championship this year. They supposed to win a championship this year. But Julius, what? He only scored, what, 5 points game 4? I don't understand that either. Somebody explain to me. You are a star player, or at least if you're not considered a star player, you are considered like a top tier player. How do you go from one game scoring 4 points to the next game scoring 24 points? If they would have gotten this output from Julius Randle in game 4, they would have won game 4. The trajectory of this series would have been completely different. We're looking at 2-2. This game 5 would have been okay. OKC put belt the ass. We're going back to Minnesota for game 6. Instead, you shit the bed, you score 5 points. You come into this game where they had so much energy, jumped out on y'all asses early, and you scored 24 points, 8 for 14 from the field. 4 for 6 from the 3-point line. I don't get it. It's just they were supposed to lose tonight. Everybody that has played and plays substantial minutes for Minnesota has a negative plus minus. Everybody that has played and plays substantial minutes for OKC has a positive plus minus. They were not supposed to win tonight, Minnesota. They weren't. So anybody that says that, okay, well, the NBA is rigged, because I have thought that my damn self. It would be easy for them to rig it. They could have had the same output in a game 7 at OKC. But it's like, nah, OKC is just a better team, clearly. And I go back to say, if Golden State were completely healthy, if Steph Curry was playing, we're probably looking at Steph Curry and OKC battling. Golden State and OKC battling. Let me act like the entire Golden State team matters. We're looking at Golden State OKC in the Western Conference, if he's able to play with the hammy. But this is crazy. It's crazy. Astronomically diabolical. Astronomically diabolical. But looking forward to the Knicks and Pacers. What was the game? Let's see. The first game they tricked off overtime. Second game they lost by 5. Third game they won but came back from being 20 down. The Pacers probably is just a better team than the Knicks. And I know that the Knicks have I guess you could say more star power. They have more name brands. because I think more people might know Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and maybe even Mikal Bridges more than they do even Tyrese Haliburton. He's the number one guy. But Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam and Aaron Nesmith and what's my other man's name? What's the guard with the braids? It's right there. What is his name? Nesmith. Nimhart. They have a lot of great role players. TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin. They have a lot of great role players that play their roles well. That's what you need a role player to do, is to play his role well, not to do too much. You just need him to come in and play basketball, play his role well, not try to do anything that he is not equipped to doing. Just do the things that he is equipped to do and do them well. Indiana has those guys. So from a basketball standpoint, OKC Indiana should be a really good series. But from a rating standpoint, I don't know if anybody's really looking forward to the series. Not gonna hold you. Not sure if anybody's really looking forward to it. Will I watch it? Sure. I'll watch it as much as I've watched these conference finals. I'm not even going to front. Ever since Golden State was knocked out, I've been passively watching it. I've been watching it from a fan of Anthony Edwards. And they hadn't looked so hot. So I haven't really been watching it, to be honest with you. I've seen more of the Minnesota OKC series than I have the New York Indiana series. But I will say this much. The future of the NBA is in really good hands. And I know there's so much debate as to who's the next face of the NBA. There's so many players that you can pick and choose from to be the face, to throw them the ball and say, run with this. We're going to strap this machine behind you, and you're going to take the league to newer heights. I don't know if anybody really thought that Michael Jordan coming out of North Carolina was going to be the Michael Jordan that he panned out to be. You knew that he was going to be dynamic, but I don't know if you knew that he was going to be what he was. It is still this day. Shout out to Michael Jordan, by the way. He's involved with the NBA on NBC. So that's just letting you know. Shoes transcend, like Michael Jordan transcends basketball. I don't think anybody knew that was going to be the case when he came out of North Carolina. So who knows what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or what Luka Doncic or what Giannis Antetokounmpo or Anthony Edwards or Ja Morant or Zion Williams, any of these guys, Cooper Flag coming in. Who knows if any of these guys are going to be able to take the NBA to the next level? Because you can always level up. I don't think that the NBA is at a plateau. I don't think that the NBA is at a level in which it can't elevate to another level. There's too much money in it. There's way too much money in it. So I'm eager to see the way in which the league goes, the next guy. And I was thinking about something. And I could be completely off. I could be way off. But I was just thinking about something. So starting next season, right? The NBC is getting the NBA again. TNT is losing it. And I think Prime is getting it. Amazon is getting the NBA also. But the main key is NBC is getting the NBA. Now, I'm an old head, okay? I'm an old millennial. I remember NBA on NBC like the back of my freaking hand. They would have like Saturday triple headers, Sunday triple headers. It was like a movie. And these were regular season games. Regular season games, they would have these. But the main event, the main attraction was Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I don't remember the exact date NBC got the rights. I think it was like early 90s. Because I think CBS had it. I think it was early 90s. I don't remember CBS ever having it, but I think they had it like throughout the 80s, maybe the 70s too, but throughout the 80s and maybe like 1990. But like when the Bulls started winning, it was NBC. NBC had it all the way into 2002, and that was throughout the Lakers three-peat. 2002, fast forward 2002, 2003. 2003 comes, LeBron comes into the league. NBC does not have the rights anymore. Michael Jordan is out of the league. You know, he was back with the Wizards 02 and 03. He's out of the league. NBC doesn't have it anymore. To me, NBC is synonymous with Michael Jeffrey Jordan when it comes to basketball. Now, Bron isn't done. He's not done with basketball at all, right? But he's 40. So he's damn near close to being done. And now NBC is coming back. And I really feel like I said earlier, I really feel like the league is really pushing for Ant Edwards to be the face of the league. And if you know anybody who knows the game of basketball, when you think about Anthony Edwards and you watch his game, you watch his demeanor, you even watch him, how he looks. He looks like somebody in particular. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So the new era of the NBA on NBC could be ushered in by Anthony Edwards. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he is Michael's long lost son. Who knows? I don't know. But I will say this much. Game's over with. The Thunder's going to the NBA Finals. Let me see. Let me go. What was the final score? 124-94. What is my math's not math? And what is that? 30? 30 points. You get closed out. 30 points. And they sending your ass to Cancun. I don't think that, regardless of however the Eastern Conference Finals ends, Indiana or New York, I don't think any of those teams, either one of those teams, can beat OKC. I just think the Thunder is destined. And to be completely honest with you, I think it's a good thing. I don't know what this video is about. I think it's a good thing. Look at that. Them boys only scored 9 points in the first quarter. 9. Julius finished for 24 points, 24 points, 8 for 14 from the field. 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 4 turnovers. And Edwards finished with 19, 7 for 18 from the field. 6 rebounds. Outside of that, Nas Reed had 11. Terrence Shannon Jr. had 11. The role players, they did what they were supposed to do game 4. They did everything that they could. Game 4. And the stars didn't show up. It's ridiculous. Chet Holmgren for OKC had 22 points. Shea finished with 34 on 14 for 25. Lou had 12. Jalen Williams finished with 19. You got Isaiah Joe with 14 points off the bench. Alex Caruso with 8. Casey Wallace had 5. It's crazy. Alex Caruso didn't miss a shot. Oh, I'm sorry. That's free throws. My bad. That's crazy. He had 8 points, 1 for 5 from the field, but 6 for 6 from the free throw line. And I think that the NBA, they made a conscious effort to letting people know that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not the free throw merchant that you think he is. He only shot 4 free throws in Game 5, closeout Game 5. Only 4. Chet had more free throws. Jalen Williams had more free throws. Alex Caruso had more free throws. And those are the only guys that shot free throws for them. Well, that being said, I don't think that there's anybody in the East, any of the 2 teams left in the East that could beat OKC in the 7-game series. I think the OKC Thunder is going to win the championship. It's not a spoiler. It's not a hot take. I mean, they're the number 1 freaking overall seed in the NBA. So they're supposed to win it. They're supposed to. You know, shout out to OKC. They, from last season to this season, finishing number 1 in the West last year, finishing number 1 in the West this year, number 1 overall this year, you made a step above. Like you are ascending. You know, you get to the semis last year. Dallas beat them in 6, right? You go out in 6. Coming back the next season, you can't do anything less than that. Right? So get out of the semis, you get to the conference finals. You win the conference finals in 5 in dominating fashion. You're supposed to win the championship now. More than likely, it's going to be Indiana. We'll see what New York does and see how much life they come out Game 5. Going to be back at home in Madison Square Garden. Cat got that was a play where there was, I guess, knees that collided. It was Cat and who was it? Was it Neesmith? I can't remember the Indiana Pacer player, but they knees banged against each other, and then it seemed like every possession after that, Cat was limping and, you know, doing his, bad bitch motions. So we'll see how healthy Cat will be. See how aggressive Jalen will be. See if the others will show up for New York. See how much of the bench Thibodeau decides to play. And just see if they have what it takes to at least put the pressure on Indiana and push it to Game 6. Because if New York's able to win Game 5, and I mean, not even win Game 5 by a couple points, like a few possessions, it takes for you to go through the ringer. I mean, all throughout, last 2 minutes, possession, every possession counts. I'm talking winning Game 5 decisively of 10 plus points. 10 plus points. Win game 5 by. You put the pressure back on Indiana. And regardless of the fact, Indiana is a young team. So you put the pressure on them. You put the pressure on Tyrese to show up as the man. Pascal to show up. Even though he's been there, he's won it. You put the pressure on them. It could be interesting. It could potentially go 7. But they gotta take it one game at a time. They gotta win Game 5. Let's see something quick. Listen to a little bit of this post game for OKC. Then I might get y'all up out of here.
for your young team?
These guys are uncommon. You know, they do everything right. They're professional. They're high character.
You know what that name, Dagnout, OKC's coach? I thought he was a foreigner. They putting towel and hats and stuff on him. I thought he was a foreigner.
They're idiots. They're competitive. And most of all, they're team first. They embody everything it means to be a team.
What are you most proud of about what your team has been able to accomplish so far?
Dude, 1 year older than me. Man, I'm about to be a coach for real, for real. I'm damn all this Coach Criscoe shit. I'm about to be a coach for real. I'm about to start coaching some little dudes or something. What is his? He coached Holy Cross. He was assistant at Holy Cross, assistant at Florida Gators, and then he went right into the Oklahoma City Blue G League team, assistant for the Thunder, and then he became the Thunder's head coach. Yeah, I'm about to start coaching. Say less.
He's brought that vision to life, and they've provided an unbelievable experience for everybody.
Let's see what they're talking about.
The players and all of our fans. Just one thing for our fans: rest up this week because we need you Thursday.
The Western Conference Finals Most Valuable Player Trophy is appropriately named after another all-time NBA great, Magic Johnson.
Magic.
The winner of the Magic Johnson Trophy for the 2025 Western Conference Finals Most Valuable Player is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Hey, you know what though? Looking at Shai holding that trophy, he most definitely has what it takes to be the face of the league, for sure. With the team that he has around him, they have the potential to be a dynasty if they can keep the core. If they can keep the core around him.
Yeah, it's a really good feeling. Think stuff you dream about as a kid. I just want to shout out these fans. They've been here.
Yeah, he has what it takes. Like, I mean, I can see them strapping the machine behind him and shooting him to the moon.
There's some really dark times in this arena, not fun times, and these fans have been by our side through thick and thin, so we appreciate them first and foremost. And then, of course, I want to thank my teammates.
Internet? I hate it when my internet does this.
Yeah, we've been through ups and downs for the whole entire season together.
I guess I needed to refresh. I was so far behind.
We're the best fans in the world, so that helps.
Jalen Williams, he's a weirdo, but I mean, he's a good like capo. He's a good capo.
Yeah, every experience, you know, we've been able to bond and get better together, and you know that's why we're here right now.
Shai said it earlier that it's what every player dreams about. What does it mean to you to know that you are going to the NBA Finals?
It's crazy. It's a testament to our hard work. Obviously, you know, we still got a job to do, but very excited.
Yeah, I just don't see anybody. I just don't see the Knicks or the Pacers having enough to beat this team in a 7-game series.
Chet, I want to ask you about the game. I didn't ask any of the other guys about the game. Just they say that closeout games are the hardest. How are you guys?
Shout out to Lisa Salters.
so easy tonight?
We have 17 dudes on the roster who bring it every single night. Doesn't matter if it's a closeout game or not. When everybody's ready to play and they bring it, it's contagious, and we saw that tonight.
Chet, there were 2 months in the middle of this season when you weren't even able to walk. Given that, how satisfying is this moment for you, knowing that you're headed to the NBA Finals?
I wouldn't say it's satisfying. It's a step in the journey, and you have to enjoy them all. But, we still have a season to play, so we're not done. But I can never take it for granted.
Job's not finished.
I can never take it for granted because, like you just said, I couldn't even walk for 2 months. But everybody in here stuck with me while I was down. Everybody behind me stuck with me when I was down. So no matter what, I got to give it my all for them.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Slender Man. You know what? I was just thinking. I know the Los Angeles Clippers are slapping them damn selves upside the head right now. By far, probably one of the worst trades in the history of the National Basketball Association. Yeah, the game's over with. The game's over. Series is over with. Series over with. They had already checked out. They was ready. Ready to go to Cancun. But I know that the Clippers are for sure. You play with heart for sure. You go out on your sword, but sometimes you got to know when to fold them, right? Know when to walk away, know when to run. So if you down 25 points, something like that in the fourth quarter, you don't really stand a chance. Not against team. They were outmatched. Minnesota was outmatched. Minnesota has a lot of good players, borderline great players, but they're not a great team. Let's just keep it a buck. Praying for the Knicks at least. The Knicks have a chance. Like I said earlier, the Knicks have a chance, but it's all dependent on Cat. I think Jalen is going to do what Jalen does. Cat is the one. He's the X factor that shouldn't be the X factor because he's a star player. So you should know what you're going to get from Cat. But I know he has the knee. The knee was banged up, towards the end of game 4. Every game. The first 2 games anyways. They shouldn't have won. They shouldn't have lost either one of those games at home. Game 1 and 2. Easily tied right now for sure. I agree. But realistically speaking, it's 3-1. So, it's still winnable series for New York, but just because they have, out of the potential 3 games, they have 2 of them at home. And they got to win 1 on the road, but they got to focus on the first game at hand. You got to push it to game 6, put the pressure and the onus on Indiana. So, anything is possible. Oh, so you a New York fan. Are you from New York? I was really pushing for New York. It's something about Indiana. I don't hate them, but it's something about Indiana. I don't hate them, but from New York, okay, all right, cool. I'm hoping that your Knicks can pull it out. I am. I'm hoping that they can pull it out. I don't think that they will though. I just don't. Everything that is like is just kind of is set up for Indiana now. I mean, they didn't let Tyrese's pops back in the building. I don't know. It's not set up for them to win. If the NBA is really about paper, they're gonna extend this series. I don't think that there was anything that they can do with this OKC Minnesota series because I think Minnesota was just so far outclassed to be honest with you. I don't think Minnesota was supposed to be there, to be honest. If Steph Curry, like I said earlier, if Steph Curry was healthy, there's no way Minnesota beats Golden State. They don't beat a healthy Golden State team. That game one showed me the way that series was going to go if Steph was healthy. So they weren't supposed to be there. They was just completely outclassed. But if the NBA is all about their ducats, they're all about their paper, they'll extend it. Let's see if Scott Foster is on the job for game 5. I don't know. I think did he officiate game 4? He might have officiated game 4. So they got to give him a game off. But if Scott Foster is on the assignment, then could potentially get to game 7. Knicks championship, yeah. So it's because they could have won, but they didn't do dumb-ish. Yeah, either way, Pacers would get swept by OKC. Yeah, you know what? I'll give the Pacers a game. If it is Pacers Thunder, I'll give the Pacers a game. I'll give them one game. Like I said before, I think the best matchup. Okay, so when I have to preface this because I feel like nobody was in this bitch earlier when I was saying all this. When the playoffs first started, my finals prediction, realistic, was OKC Boston. That was my finals prediction. The finals that I wanted to see was Golden State Milwaukee. So that was me as a fan because I like to see Steph play. I like to see Giannis play. So I wanted to see Golden State Milwaukee. But realistically speaking, I thought OKC and Boston was going to play. It's on the live stream a few lives back. Out of the teams in the East that made it to the playoffs, matching up against OKC, I thought Boston stood the best chance matching up against OKC. I don't know if Indiana matches up well against OKC, but I think New York matches up better. So that's why it to me it's like New York is down 3-1 to Indiana, but realistically speaking, if you look at them on paper, New York is a better matchup to OKC than Indiana is. So Golden State versus Knicks. I wanted Golden State in Milwaukee. Golden State Knicks would have been a good matchup also. OKC versus Head of Sixers would have been. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I initially thought when the playoffs started. OKC Boston. Because I didn't think anybody in the East could beat Boston, to be honest with you. And I wanted Milwaukee to come out of the East. Because I thought Milwaukee was a better matchup for Boston than Cleveland, than New York, than Indiana. But it's all about matchups. I mean, and then, Dame goes out and, it's injuries are part of the game. Matchups is a big part of the NBA. It's like Houston was a number 2 seed, but Golden State was able to beat them in a 7-game series. If it was Houston in the Lakers, I don't know. Who knows? If it was Houston and Memphis, it's just all about matchups. Minnesota made the Lakers look like not a third seed, but if it was Minnesota and Denver in the first round, Denver probably would have beat Minnesota. It's just all about matchups. So, I'm surprised the Knicks got past Boston. You know what? I had a whole conversation with my pops. Shout out to Pops Fontaine. I had a whole conversation with my pops. And he said that the only team that he thought could match up well against Boston in the East was Cleveland. I was never sold on Cleveland. To me, I didn't think Cleveland, I thought they were fool's gold. But I told him, I'm like, yo, you got to give New York a puncher's chance. I think New York legitimately have a chance to beat Boston. And lo and behold, they beat Boston. And you can't just put it on Tatum's injury because they were up 7, 8, 9 points or whatever when Tatum went down. So that wasn't the case. Why do you think the Knicks can never beat Indiana? I don't know. I really don't. That's why I picked them this year, because they went out last year against Indiana. I didn't think that New York would go down to Indiana twice in a row. I didn't. I thought that, okay, Indiana, they did get to the conference finals last year. And if you remember, if it was the game, I think it was game 1 last year against Boston, Indiana, they should have won that game. I think Jaylen Brown hit a corner 3 or whatever, took it to overtime, and then they won it in overtime. But Indiana tricked that game off, that game 1. If Indiana would have won that game against Boston, game 1 in the conference finals, it could have been a completely different outcome. We could have been looking at Indiana, Dallas in the finals. That would have been horrible. Indiana is like kryptonite. I think New York, much like Minnesota, now that they're in, it's like, what's the best way to put it? It's nut crunching time. Nut crunching time. They don't really know their identity. It's, okay, Jalen Brunson is the man, but you got Cat. Cat defers way too much to me. Sometimes if you Karl Anthony Towns, you got to wave Jalen Brunson off. He don't do that. Like, he turns into a corner boy sometimes. He gives it to Jalen Brunson. He gets the hell out of the way. Sometimes if you Cat, you got to give me the ball. I'm on the block. Got a mismatch. Give me the ball. Like, they don't do that. They don't do that enough. And then Thibodeau plays his starters. They have no bench. You got Campaign. You got what's my man? Is it DeLon Wright? You got Miles McBride and Landry Shamet. I guess if you're starting Hart, you got what? Jalen Brunson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, and then Towns. So you got Mitchell Robinson if you're not starting Hart, because they didn't start Hart the last game. Was it the last game or game before last? Whatever the case. They started Robinson. So you got Mitchell Robinson, you got Miles McBride, you got Campaign. That's really the only bench players that he's playing. He's playing his starters 40 minutes every game, running them through the ground. They tired. They're not a deep team. I think that's what you're seeing. The Knicks are tired. It's a tired team that's out there. When your starters are consistently playing 40-plus minutes every game, and I know in the playoffs, you shorten the rotations, for sure. But you don't have to shorten them to 7, 8-man rotations. You can still play a 9, 10-man rotation in the playoffs. Golden State won championships playing a 9, 10-man rotation. So if you're only playing 7 guys, you're only subbing out two guys here and there. Josh Hart playing 44, 45 minutes. These guys are tired. So that's what you're seeing. I knew it was over when Knicks let them come back for 20-point deficit in 2 minutes. Well, they were up 14 with like 3 minutes left or something like that. 9 points with like 2 minutes left, a minute left. See, if all your offense through Brunson, Cat, pretty easy to learn the recipe. Fit and wear Jalen Brunson down, and you can beat them. Can't play the same formula every game. They're just tired. I think Indiana's a really deep team. Where they come off the bench with Obi Toppin and McConnell. Who else they come off the bench with? I will say this much. Game 1 showed a lot to me. Game 1 was like, there's no way New York should have lost game 1. If you see this one guy, Aaron E. Smith, hitting 3 after 3 after 3, eventually you think that you're going to do something different to shut that water off. I'm not letting this man shoot 5, 6 3-pointers in a 2-minute span. It's not happening. Most of his shots, if you go back, most of those threes, uncontested. Uncontested. It's not happening. Threes beat you. If anything, I'd rather foul or whatever the case may be. I'm not letting this man get any shots off. He's the only thing that's hot right now for Indiana. And you just letting him just run up and just pull up 3-point shots uncontested. Wide open layups. You could have hit against them. It says the Knicks bench have some good shooters. They just don't get any time. I don't understand why. I was wondering why they weren't playing full court defense. Just key in on them. Hey, Nesmith's hot. Whoever's guarding Nesmith, attach. Face guard him. Don't worry about the other 4 guys. You just key in on him. Wherever he goes, you go. You don't switch. Stay attached to him. Go over the screens. It's that simple. Like, they were going under. They were staying. They detached from him. It was piss poor defense. I don't know who's coaching that defense. If it's Brunson's dad, I don't know. But it's really simple. It's really simple. Whoever's hot, you stay attached to him. You stay attached to him. If anything, you run another guy to him. You don't just let him get off. He's the only guy that's killing you right now. And then Hallie just, comes at the end and shoots the miraculous shot, takes the overtime. And low key, it should have been game. If he would have stepped back just a little bit, it would have been a game. That would have been a horrible way. That right there, that's what lost them the series. Game 1 lost them the series. And I'm speaking, because the series obviously is still, they still could win it technically, but game 1, if they subsequently lose the series, game 1 is why they lost it. Game wise, when I watched game 1, because I was dwindling down. I was in my zone. I was in my element. I've been sipping on a little bit of Hawaiian punch, and so I was feeling pretty good. I was about to go lay my head on my pillow because I thought the game was over with, and I seen this dude shoot a 3, and then he shot another 3. And then he shot another 3. And I'm like, hold up, man. Ain't no way they're about to let these boys walk them down. And he shot another one. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's like a 3-point game here. What are we doing? It's like you still can control your own destiny if you're New York. You just got to shut the water off. They did not shut the water off. And when Hallie shot that shot, I thought it was a 3. Ended up being a 2. Even though it was going to overtime, I knew then and there, Indiana's going to win this game. They got all the momentum. New York is shell-shocked, as my pops would say. They were shell-shocked. And they scored the first 2 baskets in overtime, New York did. But after that, it was just like, it was wraps. And after that game 1, I feel like that was it. Series was over with. Don't even let them in the paint. For real, they left Siakam, Haliburton wide open. Haliburton was making wide open layups like how they lost their fire game 1. For sure. They lost the game 1. That was it. But still got faith in them. Game 5 is at home. I'm sure Madison Square Garden is going to be packed. It's going to be a lot of energy. And Jalen Brunson is a gamer. So he's going to go out on his sword. I don't know if I can say the same about Cat. That's the thing. And he's the next in line. He's the capo. I don't know if I can say the same about Cat. So if Cat shows up and, the others do their thing, Josh Hart goes out and plays his style of game, as style of basketball as he normally plays. OG shows up. He makes some timely baskets. He plays defense on the other end. Mikal hits some timely baskets, does his thing. The bench, they get a little bit of productivity from the bench. They got a chance to push it to 6. Hopefully, push it to Game 7. If they push it to Game 7, that's what I'm saying. All they got to do is win Game 5. All they got to do is win Game 5. All the pressure's on Indiana. You put all the pressure on Indiana, even though they be at home for Game 6. Put all the pressure on them. Anything's happen. Anything's possible. And then when you are the team that has the chance to close it out, any game that you play moving forward that you don't close out, anything is possible. You never know what could happen. Tyrese Haliburton can drive to the basket. He can go up. He can come down on somebody's foot, twist his ankle. He out the game. It's like, damn, we could have closed it out in 5. But now we're in Game 6 at home. Tyrese Haliburton just twisted his ankle. Now we're without our best player. We got to try to finish it off without him. Damn, we mess up. We lose Game 6. We're going back to New York. His ankle was worse than we thought. Now we Game 7 without Tyrese Haliburton in New York. Anything can happen. So when you are in a position to close out, like OKC did tonight, the best bet is to close out. It's always bad. Look at Golden State 2016. Up 3-1. Game 5 at home. Draymond was suspended. Yes. But they had an opportunity to close out. Did not close out. They get Draymond back for Game 6, but you in Cleveland. They got all the momentum now. They blow them out. Game 7, now it's win or go home for both teams. It's not like you are in the driver's seat. You had a one game to close out and win the championship. You lose 2 in a row. Now it doesn't matter. Whoever wins the championship. It's March Madness. So your best bet is to try to close out when you can close out. Don't prolong it. Not even one game. So even if you're on the road for Game 5, you have an opportunity to close out in Game 5. You need to close out in Game 5 because you never know what could happen. So, yeah, if New York can push it to a Game 6, put all the pressure on Indiana, they get out there, their booty holes get tight, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And, I would hope so because I would much rather see OKC New York than OKC Indiana, to be honest with you. Yo, what's good with you? Matt 2K, what's good with you? I'd much rather see OKC in New York. And I think the NBA would much rather see that also. I think. From a rating standpoint. Too small. Your mom got you all 4 home games to the Thunder's finals. Hey, man. I'm not too far from OKC, man. You want to take a guess? Hey, how you doing? My name is Chris. Nice to meet you, Matt. I'd much rather see OKC New York. I think from an NBA standpoint, I think the NBA would much rather see that also from a rating standpoint because you still would have a big market. 2 small ass markets. I don't think that OKC is waiting for Indiana. Yeah, same. Imagine the energy. Yeah. Let me guess. Texas. Yes, I'm in Texas. North Texas. 2 small markets for the ratings. When was the last time we had 2 small markets in the finals? Milwaukee, Phoenix? Who wants to see Indiana, OKC? No. Nobody. I guess the people in Indiana and Oklahoma. I guess you could say Milwaukee and Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix is not a terribly small market. Milwaukee is kind of sort of. Shout out to your mom. Shout out to your mom for doing that for you, man. Phoenix is not really a small market, so I can't really say Milwaukee and Phoenix. I don't know. I don't know if there's ever been a two small market finals. I'm going back. I'm dating myself here. Even in the 90s, like Chicago's a big market. So, I mean, they played, well, Lakers, it's a big market. And they played Portland, that's a pretty small market. They played Phoenix, it's not a small market per se. Then they played Seattle, not a terribly small market at the time. And then Utah twice, small market. Houston, New York. New York's a big market. Houston's a big market. I'm just going through the 90s. Because in the 80s, it was a lot of Boston, LA, or Boston in Houston, or LA, Detroit. I mean, it was big markets. The Lakers in Indiana. Lakers a big market. That's 3 in a row. San Antonio and Detroit. So that's 03. The last time we had like two small markets, I guess you could say. San Antonio is a decently small market, and Detroit is a decently small market. So 03 was the last time we had two small markets in the finals. And the ratings for those finals, abysmal. Abysmal. And we had Detroit and San Antonio again in 05, if I'm not mistaken. Wait a minute. No. Dating myself again. 03 was San Antonio, New Jersey. Because 02 was Lakers, New Jersey. 03 was San Antonio, New Jersey. New Jersey, 05 was Detroit and San Antonio. So Detroit, San Antonio, 05 was the last time we had two small markets. Let's see. They're in the finals for the first time since 2012. Yep. The last time the Knicks were in the finals was in 2000. Actually, it was 1999. Caleb. 99. 2000 was LA, Indiana. The Thunder's lost in the 20. Are you a bot, Matt 2K? I believe Knicks' last trip was 1973. I think you're right, Kayla. I think you're right. The Knicks got to the finals in 99 as an 8 seed. And actually, fun fact, Michael Jordan Michael Jordan retired twice from the Bulls, right? He retired in 93 from the Bulls. He retired in 98 from the Bulls. Each time Michael retired from the Bulls, the next season, the Knicks got to the finals. So they made it to the finals in 94, and they made it to the finals in 99 after Michael retired. It's fine. It's a little. It just kind of lets you know that the Knicks was kind of the next best team in the East after the Bulls throughout the 90s. Knicks, the oldest team to go without a chip. Is the Knicks the oldest team to go without a chip? The oldest team. The oldest team to go without a chip. Well, there's some NBA teams that have never won an NBA championship. Indiana's never won a chip. The Clippers never won a chip. The Hornets never won a chip. The Pelicans never won a chip. The Grizzlies never won a chip. Who else never? The Timberwolves never won a chip. The longest to go without a chip. So one that's won. Indiana never won an NBA championship. I think they got some ABAs, if I'm not mistaken. They've never won an NBA championship. They've made it to the finals. They got to the finals in 2000, played Kobe and Shaq. Indiana got to the finals in 2000. They played Kobe and Shaq in 2000. Reggie Miller and them. The longest without a chip. It could be the Knicks. Yeah, it could be the Knicks. Like a team that has won a championship that has had like a long gap in between. It could be the Knicks. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just thinking. What teams? Let me see. I can do some. NBA championships. I'm just thinking, who hasn't won a championship in a while? What team has won a championship that had? Oh, the Hawks. The Hawks, but they didn't win in Atlanta. They were in St. Louis. And the last time the Hawks won a championship was 1961. They were in St. Louis, but it's the same. It's the same franchise. So technically, the Hawks is the team that hasn't won a champion. Oh no! I'll take that back. Hang on. Let me see, what team is this? Rochester Royals. I think that's the Kings, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So maybe it's the Kings. The Kings, the Rochester Royals used to be the Kings. Can't talk now. Dyslexia is dyslexian. Shit. The Sacramento Kings used to be the Rochester Royals. They won a championship in 1951. So technically, the Kings are the longest team to not win a chip. I'm seeing. Yeah, the Kings last one in 1951. Yeah, the Kings. The Kings are the longest. And then the Hawks. OKC is a juggernaut, set up to win for years. They got to pay their players, though. That's the only thing about it. They got to pay it. They got some guys coming up that's going to demand some paper. And it's a small market, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to afford to keep that core. If they can keep Shea and Jalen and Chet, yeah, you can put some pieces around them. If you lose a Dort, if you lose a what's my man? The bald dude with the chrome dome. Crusoe. If you lose Hardenstein, then you can replenish. But if you can keep Chet and Jalen and Shea, you can put pieces around them. You can win for a few years. Thunder last trip was in 79. Yes. Seattle. Yep. OKC is set up though. If they decide that it's worth paying the guys to keep them there, yeah, they set up to win for a few years. To be honest with you. They draft very well and keep Shea, Jalen, and Chet together. The others will be rotated with others. Presti's a master and plug and play. For sure. Presti is, yeah, he's been doing this for a long time. He is for sure. He knows what he's doing. For sure. And it's cool, Dynasties are good for the league. I know a lot of people don't like dynasties. They don't like when teams dominate. I know there was a lot of hate for Golden State throughout the 2010s when they were doing their thing. There were hate for the Bulls in the 90s when they were doing their thing. Dynasties are great. They're great for the league. It gives you somebody. It gives you a Goliath. It gives you a Goliath to slay. Bulls' last championship was with Jordan, right? Yes. And they had a really good chance to achieve that. Same success with Derrick Rose before, all the injuries. But the Bulls' last championship was in 98. The Last Dance. I'm sure you probably watched it. That was their last chip. But the NBA is also a lot better when when the big markets are successful. So when Boston is on top, when the Lakers are on top, and I guess you could say now the Clippers, when the Bulls are on top, the Knicks, when they're on top, that's when the league flourishes. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I see how Tibbs coaches the Knicks, I guess I never really paid attention to his coaching strategy when he was with Chicago. Maybe he's the reason why Derrick Rose's ACL was like pulled pork. It was he was bound to drizzle out. Like just running guys through the grounds. Like you need a bench, man. You can't just depend on to win championships and to win championships effectively. You have to have a team. You can't just depend on a starting lineup. You got 5 guys out there that you basically depending on to win a championship. It's not happening, Captain. I don't think we'll get many dynasties anymore. The way the team was built, just so perfect, is crazy. It takes so much going right to do what OKC has done. I think they really learned a lot from last season. Finishing number 1 last year and going into the playoffs with no experience really, and really getting overwhelmed by Dallas. I think that right there was a learning experience from them. You see a lot of teams, they say you have to lose in order for you to win. Like you have to lose first in order for you to wake up and then decide, okay, I'm going to take the next step. And that's why I picked Minnesota to win the series, honestly. And that's why I was wrong, obviously. But that's why I picked Minnesota to win the series, because they got to the conference finals last year, had home court last year, lost on the next to the grandest of stages in conference finals. I thought, okay, that was their losing. So now they're back in the conference finals. They know what to expect. They know the gravity of being in the conference finals. They're not going to take this for granted. And they just got buzzsawed by a better team. So shout out to OKC. Like they deserve to be there. 68 wins. It's one of the best regular seasons in the history of the NBA. 68. There's only a few other teams that's won more games than them in the regular season. Like there's been a few 69 win teams, and of course the Bulls won 72, Golden State won 73. Outside of that, I don't think that's it. That's it. There's been a few 69 win teams. Matter of fact, let me see. See where they rank. It got to be top 5 all time. Yeah. So Golden State, of course, with the 73-9, Bulls 72-10. So the Lakers won 69, Bulls won 69 the year after winning 72. And then Philly won 68, Boston won 68. There's OKC. Tied for 5th? Well, I said 5th. One of the greatest regular seasons of all time. They got old. Golden State's dynasty. They got old. They won as many championships as they could. But to be honest with you, and maybe I'll make a live moving forward after the finals about a few different teams. But I don't think that Golden State's window is closed quite yet. We're gonna see what their offseason looks like. Solid take. OKC adding veterans was key this year for them. That's why I feel like New York will learn and come back stronger next year with a couple added pieces to fill out the roster. The series not over, though. It's not over yet. It's not. And I don't know who they could add to their they definitely going to have to bolster up their bench. I'm not sure who they can add, but I think they have some paper because the contract that Jalen signed, he left a lot of paper on the table, and I know that kind of set up them to be able to bring Cat in. But I think that they do have some paper available for them to get some guys to come in to fill out their bench, because they're gonna have to do that. And then moving forward, if we're gonna be completely honest with you or with each other, they got to do something next season. right? So Boston is going to have an off year. Jalen is pretty much going to miss the entire season next year. So we're not really looking for Boston to. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs probably because they still have talent. But Boston is going to look. They're going to look drastically different. More than likely, one of the two, Drew or Kristaps, one of them is not going to be there next year. They're just not going to have enough paper to pay him. They don't want to move off of Derek White. He's probably going to be there. Jaylen Brown's going to be there. Don't know what Uncle Al's going to do. If he's going to retire. Mid-level exception and some cap space can turn in 2 pieces and a trade or two. They got to do something. New York has the roster. Okay? They have the roster. And like you said, they can make some moves, bring in some pieces. Yeah, they have some mid-level exception that they can bring in. Being right there on the cusp, being in New York, that's going to attract some free agents. Like who wouldn't want to be in New York, right? And playing for a contender. But if New York doesn't make the finals next season, we got to talk about if they need to make a coaching change. It might be time for Tibbs to go. Let's see. Giannis would be good on the Knicks. Giannis would be great on the Knicks, but I mean, you got to come off a Cat. Now, would Milwaukee go for that? Would Milwaukee want Cat? I mean, that would be the best player they probably could get from a return on a Giannis trade. I know there's been some talks about him potentially going to Golden State. I heard San Antonio, I heard Miami, I heard Houston. If you can get Karl Anthony Towns in a trade, maybe they probably would have to throw in maybe a Miles McBride or somebody like that. Yeah, I think Milwaukee might take that trade. If you put Giannis with Brunson, and you still got OG, you still got Mikal Bridges. Yeah. If I'm New York, I'm doing that. Even if Milwaukee was just like, yo, we'll give you Giannis for Cat straight up, hell yeah. That's a no-brainer for New York. I don't know why Milwaukee would do that, though. So, New York would definitely have to add more to that trade. I don't know. I think the money is pretty close for Giannis and Cat. Let me see. Let me just check real quick. And I'm going to get y'all up out of here. Because I got things to do tomorrow morning. I got to get up early. I'm on the clock for Massa. What is he? Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns has a 4-year, $220 million contract. Jesus Christ. So yeah, his cap hit for next year. No, his cap hit for this year was right around $50 million. Let's see what this next year's cap hit is $53 million. $53 million. So shit, Cat's contract might be more than Giannis. So Giannis, what is Giannis's cap next season? About 58. So yeah, Giannis is a little bit more. So yeah, the money is close. So New York might have to add, another piece to that, but the money is close. They could make that happen. Oh man, honestly, for me, coaching change would need to be this year. If they lose tomorrow, I agree. Even if we lose in 6, Tibbs sees on fire in New York. Are you in New York too? Okay. Yeah. I agree with that. I do. I agree with that because it's like last year. Now, last year I give them the benefit of the doubt because they were a bit injured. OG was hurt. I think Jalen was dealing with some issues, and again, they were without Julius Randle. This was previous to Cat. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. What they were able to do last year, being as banged up as they were, hats off. But this year, home court in the conference finals, you're basically healthy as you can be playing this, stage of the season. I don't know. Yeah, we got to start questioning Tibbs's, coaching strategies as far as him playing his starters the way that he play them. Like, come on, man. You got at least 12 to 15 men on the roster. They all getting paid. It's not like the bench players are sitting on the bench for free. They all getting paid. Play them. Play them. Like if your starters is doing what they're supposed to be doing, then you're going to be in a pretty good position. You sit them down, and then you have Cat and you have Brunson. If you have your rotation set up properly, you can have them set up to the point where you have at least Brunson or Cat on the floor at all times. One of the other is on the floor. It's kind of like how, and people shit on Steve Kerr, and sometimes I do also. But Steve Kerr, even when they had KD in Golden State, there wasn't too many times where KD or Steph was both off the floor at the same time. At least one of them was on the floor at all times. 48 minutes. You can space out the minutes to be, even this season when they finally got Jimmy Butler, Steph or Jimmy was on the floor at all times. So they starting together, but then you stagger out their minutes so that when Steph is sitting, Jimmy's on the floor. Jimmy goes out, Steph comes in, and then they end the game together. It's like there's times where they're both on the bench and they both out there playing, and they're playing long minutes for sure. But then you substitute them and they're both sitting on the bench. And even when what was it, game one? When I think Jalen got into the foul trouble or whatever, he was sitting on the bench, and then they go off on that run, they get up by 14 or something like that. So maybe Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns just can't play together. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Because they damn sure looked good when Jalen's ass was on the bench. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't know what coach they can go out and get. That's my only thing. I'm not sure. Say, why did they take Mitch out in that first game? It took him out because if I can remember correctly, they were starting to foul him to kind of get him off the floor. Indiana was doing the hack of Mitch. I would say anybody that's playing professional basketball. Anybody that's playing professional basketball. If you're struggling to make free throws, every practice that you attend, every scrimmage that you attend, every workout that you do, you need to be practicing your free throws. I don't think there's a pro basketball player that should be shooting less than 60% from the free throw line. It's a free throw. It's muscle memory. It's the same shot every time. Makes no sense. DeLon Wright and Shamet, Precious. I forgot about Precious Achua. He had been playing, right? I forgot about Precious. Deserved 10 minutes at least, man. But Tibbs only likes what he knows. And yet the candidates are not enticing other than Bobby Hurley, Wright, or Bryant from Cleveland. Wright or Bryant from Cleveland? Are those assistants? Well, right. I don't know the coaches like that. I don't know who they could get. That would be. I'm trying to think. Just off the top of Jay Wright. Jay Wright? No, Jay Wright is not coming back to coach, man. You talk about Villanova, Jay Wright? No, he done, man. Where the hell is the rookie Kolek? Dan Hurley. Yeah. Oh, Dan Hurley. I don't want to think about Bobby Hurley. Dan Hurley. No, he just signed didn't he sign an extension with UConn? He's not leaving UConn. He was supposed to leave UConn for the Lakers, right? He interviewed for the Lakers job. Nah, he cush. He cush. He plush. He's not leaving UConn, dog. Jay Wright is comfortable in retirement. He's not coming out of retirement to coach the Knicks. They better off trying to get Rick Pitino back. I just don't know who's out there that they could realistically get, unless they try to entice a coach that has like, I guess, gained a little bit of success in one of these smaller market teams, like I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, that's out there. I don't know. I mean, maybe Tibbs is the best option. Maybe that's why they haven't got off of him, because there's no other, unless you go into the assistant market. You know, there's a lot of assistants that haven't received Johnny Bryant from Cleveland. And I agree, none of those guys available, but they are the only options at this point that could move the needle. Jeff Van Gundy. Gundy. I like Jeff though. Stan too. Jeff is assistant with yeah, I know. And Jeff is assistant with the Clippers, right? Is he with the Clippers right now? Maybe they go for Tyronn Lue. See if they can pry him away from Money Man down there. But Jeff is not a bad option. They can bring him back. I don't know if he want to go back to New York though. But I mean, for a head coaching position, maybe he would. Maybe he feels like, you know, it's easy for me to be the assistant. I could be under the radar, still in the big market. You know, thought he did his thing with the Knicks when he was there. And I like Stan too. I even like Stan as a commentator, and I don't like too many of the commentators now at all. It's 11 o'clock. I'm gonna let y'all go. I appreciate everybody that put up the stream. I'm gonna get up out of here. OKC is in the NBA Finals. We shall see who's their opponent. New York. Stan does keep it real, for sure. I think he keeps it a little too real for the NBA standards. Appreciate you for pulling up to the stream. Everybody and anybody that pulled up. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out the door. It helps the algorithm. And hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, please. And thank you. I will see you on the next one. You know what? I might stream tomorrow night what's tomorrow? Thursday? I might stream tomorrow night during the game. I might stream during the game. Especially if Indiana's putting belt to ass. Then we're looking at OKC Indiana for sure. But pulling for the Knicks. I am. Appreciate you pulling up to the stream. Hit the like button on your way out the door. Hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. See you on the next one.